the 2018 NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens.
It's a mentality when you step on that field. Everything you got, every single play, and let's find a way to get a win.
Fires it near side to Kelce, comes back to the ball and hauls it in for a 19-yard touchdown.
Down the middle, back of the end zone, it's intercepted.
Back-to-back turnovers by the Baltimore Ravens.
Chiefs are heading to Super Bowl 58, a magnificent season and a heartbreaking end.
The games I watched growing up, the great quarterbacks going up against each other with great football teams, great organizations. You appreciate that stuff when I go against Lamar. All these guys know how much fire they have, and they're not going to give up to the very end.
Time has expired. Lamar to the end zone.
I thought it was a touchdown.
He's launching one long. Marquez Valdez-Scantling catches the ball. Yeah! You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
You've called Kansas City your kryptonite in the past.
It ain't my kryptonite.
I've never felt so much joy and pain at the same time.
I was like the pain in that. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. All right, it is all going down with the Ravens and the Chiefs Sunday on CBS at 4:25 Eastern. The loser is going to be 1-3, which is absolutely crazy to think about when we're thinking of either of these teams. We know that if you're 1-3, getting to the playoffs, getting to a Super Bowl, which is the goal for both of these teams, that becomes more and more of a far sight. So I don't know if I can think of a Super Bowl without either one of these teams. I don't know. We have our experts, Pete Prisco, Douzable. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino with Haley Sutton here to preview this amazing, incredible matchup here that is on CBS. I said it before, guys, 1-3. That is going to be one of these teams, their records after this. Pete, what are your expectations for these versions of these teams? Because it's definitely a different version of the Chiefs, and I don't know if we expected it to be this much of a different version of the Ravens that we've seen so far, but what are your expectations for what we've seen so far through 3 games with these teams?
Disappointment with both of them. I mean, particularly the Ravens. A lot of people think their roster is the best in the league, and they haven't played like that. They've been mauled. I mean, they have really been mauled in the run game. They've been mauled on both sides of the line of scrimmage. That's not the Ravens' calling card. You know, we talk about Lamar Jackson a lot, and he's been a great player. But their calling card is being physical on both sides of the ball, running the ball, smashing the football, knocking guys off the ball, and they haven't done it. And to me, that's as big a disappointment as anything in the league this year, is the fact that they're not being physical. And Mr. Henry is not doing a very good job right now. I mean, I think he has 70-something yards in the last 2 games and 3 fumbles, and it's in his head. So I'm worried about this Ravens team.
So Pete laid it out for you with the Ravens. I'll talk about the other team, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the disappointment on the offensive side. And for the longest, they've always had an identity that we can cling to, whether it's throwing the ball down the field, whether it's having a top-tier flight defense, right? Whether it's out executing everybody. But neither of those things are happening this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're one of the most frustrating offenses in football to watch right now. The only time, or the only resemblance of the old Chiefs, was the first drive in the 3rd quarter versus the Giants. Quick game was there, Pete. They ran the ball effectively. For the life of me, I don't understand why Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes in shotgun every single play. The only 2 positive runs they had were under center with Isaiah Pacheco on zone runs. Get him under center. That helps with the play-action pass game, helps with the offensive line setting up blocks as well. I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish on offense. Now, rightfully so, they have injuries on that side. But again, with Big Red and his inventiveness, he's always been able to overcome those injuries. When Tyreek Hill was traded away, they were still the #1 offense in football. Travis Kelce was a different player than he is now. But again, they're just frustrating to watch on offense right now.
Yeah, Leisha, you said it. Frustrating on offense. I feel like that's how we all feel. The Chiefs offense off to their worst start in the Mahomes era in terms of scoring, yards per play. So, Pete, how do they get out of this funk? How do they turn it around?
What do they do well? That's the question. Aside from the quarterback, what do they do well? The running backs are basically non-existent. I mean, Pacheco's not the same player he was. Kareem Hunt is a tough physical guy who, like I always say, turns 20-yard runs into 5-yard runs and turns 2-yard runs into 5-yard runs. That's what he does. But you can't win consistently with that. The weapons on the outside, Tyquan Thornton. I mean,
he's the guy right now.
I liked him coming out, but he's been a major disappointment. He's the guy. Yeah. So I think they're really, and by the way, the interior of the offensive line, which they paid a boatload of money to, they haven't played up to expectations either.
But I think part of that is what I talked about, them being in shotgun and teams are teeing off on them. Like, they have had success when they've been under center. And going back to Pete's point, that's why I said, what's the identity of this offense? Like, we've never had this question about Andy Reid and the Chiefs. And you guys stated it, right? Whoever loses this game is going to go 1-3. And when you look at history, I believe only the 2001 Patriots were the only team to go 1-3 and go on to win the Super Bowl. So it doesn't look bright if you lose this game.
It's interesting, too, while we're on the subject of where the Chiefs can find a spark. You mentioned it about the Ravens' defense. We have a whole section in our research notes that's called "The Ravens Are Getting Bullied." So for that front, if we flip this over and we look at the Ravens defense, that, I mean, historically they're giving up the most points per game. There's a lot that's going wrong. How can the Chiefs take advantage of a Baltimore defense that's giving up a lot, Lige?
The thing is, can they run the football? Because that's what's hurt them. They, like Pete said, they've been bludgeoned in the run game, and that's not synonymous with the Ravens' culture, their defense. They usually do the punching in the mouth. They don't get punched in the mouth. And the funny thing is, this isn't rare for the Ravens, right? They started off 1-2 last year, and it was because of the pass defense. But now it's something different when you get punched in the mouth and you don't respond. Like, giving up passing yards because of busted coverages is one thing, but when somebody lines up and says, we're going to run the football and there's nothing you can do about it, like, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and everybody on that defense has to look themselves in the mirror. So, to me, again, when we saw success from the Chiefs last week, it was under center with the run game. Will they start implementing that? And also, we'll see what the injuries look like for the Ravens on that defense, because that hurt them as well last week.
You know, when you watch the Ravens, they're not very big. It's not a big defense. Remember, they used to have big guys.
Yeah.
In their heyday.
Travis Jones is big.
He is, but he hasn't been playing that
John
well.
Jenkins, I thought, played decent.
And Matic Beakey's not a big guy, and he's not there anyways. Van Noy, I mean, they just lack size. So teams push him around a little bit, and they got. I mean, when Roquan Smith was terrible the other day. They all were bad. And they've also lost different ways. Remember, the Bills beat them by throwing it in the second half. So there's a bit of
Jair Alexander.
And there's also been a bunch of busts in the secondary as well. It's not been a good defensive performance across the board, and I think it puts more pressure on the offense. Lamar Jackson got off to a great start the other night, and then he started pressing a little bit. He started holding the ball, and so I think one thing influences the other. They have to play better defense.
To that point, real quick, Pete, when you look at Lamar Jackson, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the first 3 games, he's 1-2. The other quarterbacks that have done that are 26-1 in the first 3 games when they have at least 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That lets you know how bad the defense is playing right now.
Yeah. But to that point, we just heard in the video leading up to this, the last thing Lamar Jackson said, what was it? He was asked if the Chiefs were his kryptonite, and he said, that ain't my kryptonite. But when you look at the numbers, he is 1-5, Lige, against this team. So everything that you're saying, we know the sample size. What is it about the Chiefs that he just can't get past?
I mean, it's what we talked about. They've always had an identity. They've always figured out how to out-execute people. And you could say they're not your kryptonite, but the numbers are the facts, right? You're 1-5 versus Patrick Mahomes. Matter of fact, when you look at the history of former MVPs playing each other, Mahomes has the 4th best record versus Lamar Jackson from one MVP playing another MVP. He's owned him, literally. Like, we remember, what was it, 2 years ago, Pete, when we all went to Vegas? We thought that was the year the Ravens at home could beat the Chiefs, and Mahomes went into his house and got the dub and then went on to win the Super Bowl. So you can say he's not your kryptonite, but until you beat him consistently, he is your kryptonite. And he's Josh Allen's because he's owned him in the playoffs as well, too.
Yeah, it's like little things have always impacted those games. You know, like the likely play at the end zone, the
foot,
I mean, all of it. It's always little things. I mean, there's
small things.
You saw those offensive numbers from those two in those games. Yeah. I will be shocked if they even sniff those numbers. Seriously. Because the Chiefs are pretty good on defense. Yep. And, you know, we see what the Ravens are on offense. But on defense, the problem is the Chiefs have been so bad on offense. Something has to give between those two.
And guys, really quickly here, you were right, Lige. The 2001 Patriots, the only team to start 1-3, go to the Super Bowl. We got to get your pick. Who's winning? Who's going to be 1-3? What do you think?
I think the Ravens right the ship. Again, they were in this situation last year. They were 1-2. Now, again, it was the pass defense and not the run defense. But to Pete's point, the Chiefs haven't been able to run the football. So until they show me they can consistently run the football, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens -2.5.
I think the Ravens have shown they can lose getting thrown on late in the game. They can lose getting run on the entire game. And I think the Chiefs are going to figure out, Andy Reid, you mentioned him, he's going to figure out something to attack that defense. I think in the end, Mahomes will win the game at home.
All right, so you guys are on opposite sides of it. Lige is going with the Ravens.
Shocker.
I know. And Pete is going with the Chiefs. We'll see what happens. Ravens right now favored at 2.5. All right. We got to welcome in our guy, Kyle Long. He's part of the NFL Today Plus crew. Kyle, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. You guys are hitting the road for another on-the-road show. You're going to be in Kansas City. The last time you were on the road, you were doing like a Lambo leap. There was like all kinds of crazy stuff happening. What can we expect for this show on the road here in KC?
Hopefully less physical events and more culinary events. I know Lige can support that. Also, check out Lige's cooking channel. That guy can throw down.
My guy.
Look, Ravens, Chiefs, NFL Today Plus. It's going to be a blast. And obviously, on location, the energy hits different. So if you're in the Midwest, make your way to the Kansas City Chiefs-Ravens game. NFL Today Plus starts 9 a.m. Central. You can see me there at Lambo in somebody's house, stealing all the beer, talking a little smack. So check us out, NFL Today Plus. It's a lot of fun.
There it goes.
Oh, there it
Lambo.
goes.
Oh, get up there, Kyle. Get up there.
He made it.
That's an athlete, man. Heck yeah.
Plus, he was hurting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you did complain about it for a couple of weeks. Kyle, we surely hope that you get some more culinary experiences, get some nice KC barbecue. We appreciate it, Kyle. Lige, Pete, we appreciate it as well. Previewing Ravens, Chiefs, and of course, as Kyle mentioned, the NFL Today Plus crew. Hitting the road, they're going to be in Kansas City. That starts off at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You can stream it right here on HQ or on Paramount Plus. Oh, and then we have the NFL Today crew who will be picking things up after NFL Today Plus at 12 Eastern. So make sure you check it out. Also streaming on Paramount Plus.
It's good to see Nate not in that electric yellow jacket that he had on for Throwback Week.
Had the part in his hair.
It could be next to you. You could be two highlighters.
Yeah, we stand out.